in 06. He has waited so long to get this third one. He has stayed in the fight. He was almost out of the fight. I mean, getting basically fired from two teams. Well, I won't say fired, but I mean, two teams didn't even want him enough that they traded him away. And finally, staying in it so long that he's managed to get the golden mouse after all this time. I don't know. I just wanted to spend a minute there to give him some mad props there in general.
And what a miraculous doing it. Nobody predicted 3-0 July. I mean,
except the
absolutely
fanboys.
Incredible.
Well, I did say 3-1.
Yeah.
I did say 3-1.
You did say 3-1. I mean, yeah, I totally did not expect this. I mean, after all, naysayers will always say nay. You know, people were always saying, you know, he had an easy road to the finals of the OSL. He only had to face Backhoe. He only had to face The Rock, and now he's facing Best, and Best will just end up besting him. But July has shown us that he certainly was, you know, just because he had to face easy competitors in the beginning doesn't mean that he certainly was not capable of playing well. And certainly, you know,
he made them look easy.
Yeah.
Yes, he made them look easy partially. I mean, they were easy, but he was hiding, I think, almost hiding his skills, because you gotta think, he hasn't played a one-on-one game in the Pro League in years, I think. He's only on their 2v2 team, and, you know, this is a July that's been lurking. He's been burrowed for the last year or so, perhaps just hiding underground
Best
and getting ready his
subterranean spines now.
Yeah, I mean, I could just see July like hiding in a cavern somewhere, just getting ready his sharp knives and his weapons and training himself, you know, exercising every day, burning off the weight. And I do say, by the way, July is in much better physical shape than he's ever been, that I've ever seen. And I think that's partially contributing to how great he is. I mean, you gotta think that dropping a couple extra pounds probably makes your stamina a little better for long StarCraft games too. Anyway, he is gonna be adding another medal to that chest of medals he has, those two little lapel pins, which are OSL titles, I believe, or representative of other titles. But yeah, I mean, all the people who were saying that he had an easy path to OSL, while they were right about that, it certainly hasn't proven to be any factor at all. And in the third game, I think he's completely justified his win also. I mean, no one's going to say that he would have lost a macro game against Best, because that was a macro game. That lasted about 25 minutes, I think, and he just absolutely dominated Best. There wasn't even a point where I thought he was behind. That was how amazingly he played, and that is absolutely impossible to do against Corsair Reaver. I mean, Corsair Reaver is just so powerful, and like you said, Moletrap, I do have to say that I agree with you about how many Scourge July produced and how important that was to his victory. But I do think that there was a point where Best had 3 shuttles full of Reavers, and I hadn't seen them dropped once, and at that moment I just thought, he has lost his nerve. He just has looked the God of War in the eye, and he's blinked. I mean, when you have 3 shuttles full and you haven't seen a Reaver being played offensively, there's something wrong, and July, you know, has, I think, just scared him by the third game into defeat. I think it was psychological, partially.
I'm sure, I mean, as I said, we talked about this before the game. There were so many variables at play, holding nerve, all of that other stuff, you know, preparation. Clearly, July had the preparation. Clearly, he had the nerve. Yeah, I'm not sure how much, as I said, I don't know how much of it was just Best's hesitation as opposed to July's great response to Best's build. I think the problem for a lot of people with their predictions before the game, I think most people who made their predictions for a dominant, comfortable victory for Best were suffering with Klazart's wife syndrome, which is a new medical condition. But and I'm just going to go over it again for those of you guys who haven't heard of this. Essentially, whenever we're watching a sport, me and my wife, and there's a team she's supporting, she always acts as if they're doing worse than they are, and she's essentially trying to trick the universe into allowing that team to win. And she seems to believe in it. It seems to work for her. And I think that's what was probably going on. A lot of people, I think, were talking down July's chances on purpose, because if he lost, they did not want to be disappointed. They were trying to buffer their own disappointment. And I think that's what most people were doing, because Best is relatively new to the scene. I don't think he would have nearly as huge a fan base as July does. And I think most July fans were trying to make excuses, were trying to just pinch themselves, really, in the hope that they wouldn't be too disappointed, because they've been disappointed by so many great players so many times in the past. I mean, it's very rare to see one of the great players come back and accomplish what July has done today. Nada has been the only other player who could do it. And July has been relatively consistent over time, so I think you've got to give him credit for that. But yeah, people were making all sorts of excuses. Oh, the map pool doesn't favor him. He hasn't faced a good opponent. He hasn't had to really macro a lot. He's not as well able to macro as he is. I mean, this is, to me, right from the start, all of this was nonsense. July is a champion. he can do anything and everything, and when he sets his mind to it, when he has the hunger and the determination that we've seen him produce this season, there was going to be nothing that was going to stand in his way. And I can only hope we can see more of the pros getting inspired by his example. But he is back, and in a big way.
You did
Tremendous win for July. One of the best StarCraft finals I've seen in a long time.
You had said, I have to admit, you said it from the beginning.
You out of us three.
That July will own, and there's nothing else to it. And we did a little bit of naysaying, but you have to admit, Best is playing pretty damn well lately. At least there was reason.
Oh, he played. Best played well. I think Best really played even beyond himself. Even in the first couple of games where he got cheesed, and even in the third game, Best played a great game of StarCraft. But July was just incredible. He was beyond StarCraft.
And who would have thought,
StarCraft.
honestly, that 3-0. Yeah. Oh, here comes the money presentation. But yeah, geez, I don't even remember what I was going to say. I'm just staring at Best right now. And just look at his face. He doesn't even care about this check. He just wants to rip it up almost. He's like, oh, yeah, second place check, whatever. I mean, with it, when you have a name like Best also, I mean, we didn't commentate about that, but when you have a name like Best, it's just an albatross around your neck. I mean, honestly, you got to win the OSL the first year you come onto the scene if your name is Best. I'm sorry, but he must have known what he was getting himself into. And I'm so glad to see the resurgence of Zerg. By the way, what do you guys have to think about that? I mean, Jaedong.
It's not resurgence.
Away,
I think
Jaedong
out of the
going
last
into the.
Yeah, I mean, out of the last five finals, I think Zerg has won 4. I think I'm not sure if Flash actually won the MSL the last time or the OSL. I think he's won an OSL.
He won the OSL.
Yeah, Flash has won the OSL. So other than Flash, the last 5 or 6 OSL finals have been won by Zerg. So I don't think we can count Zerg as down and out. Although that being said, there are a lot fewer top-level Zerg players playing right now than there are of the other races.
He might be, well, I mean, if you think about it, basically, if you think about it as the era of Savior, and then the era of Bisu, and now the Zergs have come back after Bisu with Jaedong and now July. So in that sense, it's sort of a resurgence, I guess.
I honestly almost wish in a hypothetical universe that July faced Flash in this finals. And I don't want to get flamed for that, but I think that would have been an absolutely epic 5-game series had it happened. But anyway, that's neither here or there, and I'm obviously happy to see July. All of us were July fans, right? Yeah, next season maybe.
Well, for me, I'm still just completely laughing my head off for what was for me the moment of this match, and that was when July committed the drone drill in Game 2, and Bisu's face hit the floor. He was just thinking, "Oh my God! For once, I'm glad I'm not in that booth." And that for me will be something that will be etched forever in my memory. It will be indelible, and I don't think I will ever forget that look on Bisu's face. To see that on a pro game or on one of the best Protoss players we've ever seen in StarCraft, I think it's priceless.
That was exactly what he was thinking. He's like, "Oh my God! I'm so glad I'm not Best right now. It's really a good thing."
He's so glad Savior didn't do that. Back in the day.
Oh man, that was crazy. And I do want to add that it's true. I think Cholera, you said this already, or you probably both said it, but I'll just reiterate that no one now can say, "Oh, July just cheesed his way through the OSL Finals." There's no doubt that anyone can have at this point.
Yeah, all the naysayers have been silenced by this victory here. And I hope that Best comes back from this, by the way. I mean, we've seen a lot of young players. It's like, I think Lucifer's a good example in the Pro League, who just fell apart after losing in the Star Leagues. I mean, he's been like 0-8 for, I don't know, 0-6 or something for his last games. And, I mean, he was just in tears after getting spanked by Jaedong very hard in the MSL. But I do hope Best, comes back and shows us, his stellar Protoss versus Protoss play at least, which is, of course, like I just said, stellar. I mean, it is the best Protoss versus Protoss in the world right now. So I do have high hopes of him. Just look at July. He's not crying. He's just, look how confident he is. I mean, he didn't look surprised at all by his victory. So I'm going back to my metaphor of him hiding in a cavern somewhere, just occasionally peeking out to play a little 2v2 and then getting traded from team to team. But inside, he knew he had the championship coming to him. He knew he had honed up some secret abilities, some secret Gosu abilities, and he just sprang it on the world this series. I think this was the first real test of July in the last many years. The first real test, and in the first real test, he's certainly taken victory, and very confidently too. Just look at how good he looks.
Yeah. God, I've got so much I want to say, and I keep forgetting it. I think the first thing I want to say is that what we witnessed here today in Game 3 was what I can only describe as total StarCraft. I think that is the first time I've really, maybe not the first time, but one of the rare occasions where I have been lucky enough to witness a game of total StarCraft. That's what we saw there. I think I can also safely say that like I said for Backhoe, Best has been comprehensively outplayed by July here. He has comprehensively outplayed Best. There is no other way to put it. It didn't matter how good Best was or how well he played. He didn't stand a chance. And there was nothing July didn't do. We saw 3 hatchery builds, we saw 12 pool, we saw 9 pool, we saw 5 pool, we saw everything. We saw every single Zerg strategy. We saw macro, we saw micro, we saw rushes, we saw cheese, we saw adaptation. We saw confidence and aggression, every single aspect of StarCraft gameplay that you can have. July has delivered it at peak level today, and that is rare. That is so rare. But yeah, coming back to Game 3, Corsair Reaver, the way he coped with that, I think that says more than any other words could. Just the way July coped with that Corsair Reaver combination.
Sorry, he's been making out about that trophy for the last 30 seconds. He's just been just tonguing that trophy. That's amazing.
To be expected. To be expected.
Real quick, on that note, I'm gonna stop the video. I'm gonna keep recording the audio though. For those of you that are watching the end of this video right now, go download the MP3 and you can hear everything that we say after this. All right, we can keep talking now, but that was he was trying to be still so that everyone could like take pictures of him kissing it, since for some reason they always love to kiss the trophy. But you're right, he was like
you want to make love with that trophy.
I think I have to agree with you, Klazart. That was ridiculously well played by July Zerg. He basically just outplayed Best at every single turn. I don't think there was a single moment in the entire series where Best was what you could say as up. He wasn't really ahead at any point in any game at all, in any major sense. And July Zerg just, there was nothing Best could do. July Zerg just had an answer for everything, and he doesn't just have an answer for it. He had like a precursor for it. He just knew exactly what Best was going to do, read his book, and peed on all the pages before the game even started.
You're right. It wasn't just an answer. It's like he had like essays written for every single possible path. Just absolutely incredible. He just responded so well and so quickly too. I actually think the most brilliant play of this series was in Game 2 with the drone drill. He just adapted so quickly. He didn't go for a rush build. He went for a 12 pool into expansion. I really thought he was expecting he was planning on doing some sort of double expand or perhaps going for a fast 2 hatchery tech, but certainly I don't think he was aiming to go for a quick Zergling rush. But the moment he saw the gateway first for Best, and he saw those zealots in the gate, and he saw the Cybernetics core, I believe he did see the Cybernetics core, he knew that Best didn't have the it couldn't produce enough zealots to cope with something crazy like that. And he also knew that Best wouldn't be, because how was Best to know that drone drill was going to come? Against a normal Zergling attack, those zealots would have been enough, but July just pulled something out of his butt. The last time I seen one was like in the Pro League with Oversky, and Oversky is known for doing crazy things, but you just hardly ever see plays like that in the OSL Finals.
Guys, just for a second here, I've got Mrs. Klazart alongside. Mrs. Klazart, what do you think of that epic game of StarCraft between July and Best? What do you think of July besting Best there? Do you have any comments to make, Mrs. Klazart? Come on, the fans want to hear from you.
Yes, everyone wants to hear from you.
Mrs. Klazart refuses to comment.
Oh no!
Oh, come on! Oh,
I tried my best.
And
but
so
unfortunately, like Best, I wasn't good enough. Mrs. Klazart is gone. She's refused.
I just want to hear her voice. Oh, she.
And the IRC channel goes completely batshit.
I know. I'm just looking at.
What?
The IRC channel.
There's like 300. there's hundreds of people who demand her right now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm just
I've got my
tell her
headphones
that
on.
there's hundreds of people who want her to hear her. Just
Look at this.
one
Look at
thing.
IRC. Look how many people want you to just say hello. Just say
I
hello.
know.
Come on. It's not gonna kill you to say hello. Look, please, Mrs. Klazart.
Please.
Say hello. Come on.
Okay, hello.
Hello. That's not enough. Come on. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Say hi. No, just say hi. Okay. Okay, we've been pwned, guys.
Did you just say like
You
fuck
guys are
off?
kids listening, and you've just cursed and ruined their fragile innocence with your bad language. I think you should apologize.
I'm sorry, I was talking to him.
I think you should apologize in case there are any parents listening as well.
Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. Okay.
We forgive you.
She's gone now.
Tell her that we forgive her.
She's gone. I'm gonna have to leave in 10 minutes as well.
Alright.
I'm gonna have to pay for this later.
Oh, well.
We appreciate the sacrifice.
I will have to pay
class.
for this later.
Someone's
appreciate
sleeping
the
on the
sacrifice.
couch.
This is what I do for you guys.
That was a sacrifice.
Did it for
Oh,
mankind.
Man. Man, that was absolutely epic. I am so glad. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this actually during this cast. For those of you that don't know, I actually, because my connection is crap at home, I actually had to drive to my university, and I'm sitting in a parking lot right now in my car.
Holy
my-
shit!
With my computer
Are you serious?
with my computer plugged into my car, leeching Wi-Fi off of the internet at my university so that I can watch the
I heard you
OSL
say something
Finals
about your
and
car.
cast. That is what I'm doing right now.
I heard you say something about your car. Like, does Moletrap have a home or something? It's like, what's he doing casting in his car at like, what time is it? Like 3:50 a.m.
It
for
is
you?
3:50 in the morning right now. I showed up in the parking lot
Holy
at
shit.
1:20, and there were actually still people
Oh my
at the
God.
university that were just leaving, and they saw me like sitting here in my car, and I'm sitting here screaming at my computer, and it's so flipping hot around here that I had to roll down my window, so anyone that happened to be passing by the parking lot has heard me screaming at my computer at 3 in the... And I'll curse because Mrs. Klazart has already ruined it for everyone. 3 in the fucking morning in my car, yelling at my computer.
Yeah, if Moletrap disappears, if Moletrap suddenly disappears, no one should worry too much. He's probably just in Guantanamo being tortured to find out exactly what he
Arrested.
was up to. Yeah, what he was up to in the parking lot at 3 in the morning, screaming at his laptop. But I have to say, huge props to Moletrap for his willingness to go the distance for everyone, because without him this wouldn't have been possible. Recording the commentary.
While I'm tooting my own
and also
horn,
a big.
While I'm tooting my own horn, I've had a headache
Yes.
this entire time.
Go
so
ahead.
I hope you all appreciate that I've been.
Aww.
All right, now you're
poor
just
baby.
now you're just
Headache
now,
and
now you're
stuff.
just playing for. Yeah, now you're just playing for
And-
now you're overdoing
and
it.
there was a hot girl that wanted
quit while
to,
you're ahead.
Never mind, just kidding.
Quit while you're ahead. But huge thanks to huge thanks to all of you guys who came in and made this a very special event. I really had the time of my life. This has made the whole weekend worthwhile. I know that sounds sad, but it really has. Tremendous StarCraft, and
By the way,
tremendous occasion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully the MSL Finals will be just as exciting. I'll be there, hopefully, for it, and hopefully you guys will too. But I'm actually going to go now, because otherwise I think Mrs. Klazart has got the stick out. So I'm going to go and get ready. I'll still be around listening.
have fun,
But I
Klazart.
won't be talking because I have to get ready. But thank you for everyone. GG, July
Get ready.
owns, and all you naysayers, eat your words.
Indeed. I think that's as good of any as a time to for a couple of us, the rest of us, to bow out in general as well. And unless you have any final thoughts, Cholera.
No, I mean, I thought I was impressive by getting up at like 4:15 a.m., but you're sitting in that car in a university parking lot.
It is now.
That is just hilarious.
It's 4 a.m. now, so I'm going to be going to sleep in a little while as soon as I get home. And actually, I've still got to work on making sure these videos get on YouTube as quickly as possible. I'm gonna take a look at the quality and see if they're okay. I think they're okay quality, honestly, okay enough to go online. But what we may do is release these videos and then release them again in higher quality later on. Since I have been recording the MP3, I was gonna record them separately, but then I just said F it, and I've been recording constantly for the entire time. So the MP3 is just now past 2 hours in length, and so there's 2 full hours of randomness. We've been sitting here talking for even longer than 2 hours, actually, because I started recording a few minutes into it. So thanks to everyone else, actually, that's been listening. You guys have all been staying up till God knows when to listen to us. So we really do appreciate that, and it really makes us feel good that you guys care enough about what's going on to stay up and commit yourselves to that as well. So, you know, less than 3 to you all as well.
Alright guys, yeah, I have nothing to add to that. I mean, go July. All 3 of us were July fans, and the God of War 3-0ing the OSL, I think, was beyond anyone's wildest dreams of how he could do. Thanks for asking me along, and thanks for thanks to the whole everyone in the StarCraft world for listening, in the Foreigner world. I think this just shows how much there is. I mean, the fact that this server has been full, and we're sorry about that, for the last 2 hours, and there's something, I don't know, there's hundreds of people here and in the chat room for sc2g.com shows also how far this site has gone. So thanks, Radible, for that. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna go back to bed. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night, Cholera. Yeah, and
all right, have a good drive back.
I will. Yeah, and a few last shout-outs since we're here. Kurogane, thank you very much for getting all the crap situated. Dealing with the Ventrilo channel. Thanks to Radivel for dealing with Ventrilo stuff as well, getting everything set up as well. Thank you for several people who at least attempted to help out with stuff as well.
I echo Moletrap's thanks to everyone, by the way.
Indeed,
I echo thanks to everyone who I forgot to say thanks to, so that includes everyone who casted and stuff, and this is now turning into an award ceremony, but whatever Moletrap says, please add my thanks to that.
As Psionic Reaver, I want to say thanks to him. He was going to try and get the audio stream set up, but it wasn't working for him. That's why Kura had to set that up. And we also had Psionic Reaver and Combat and Vol were in the wings, waiting to, if myself and Cholera and Klazart's computers all died simultaneously, they were waiting in the wings to jump in and commentate for you all. But they were unfortunately having some technical difficulties at various points in time. Except for Psionic, he kept telling me that his stream was good, but it would have been too much to do for, I think, so unfortunately we couldn't include them at any point, but thanks to them for being there as well. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to sign off on that note before it becomes, as Class said, an award ceremony. Stop the MP3. GG. G motherfucking G.